Hey gang, East Coast Lumberjack here, and this week we're going to go through a few projects. I got some nice stuff here to show you in the bench. So, if you haven't seen some of the stuff that we do here at East Coast Lumberjack, this is a good week to tune in and see what we can do. So, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, be sure you hit the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up if you like what you're seeing. So this week there's some interesting handles in the shop, and I want to show some of them to you. So, and again, because I do a lot of custom work here at East Coast, I'll just put you up here so you don't have to have my belly button all the time. Because I do custom work, I can do a lot of neat things. Okay, so this is the first one I've done. Okay, now this here is called an American felling axe. Now it has a flare. It has quite a neck here on it. Okay, a shoulder we call it. Now I'm not a fan of shoulders. Okay, some people are, and if you are, no big deal. We've got handles that'll put shoulders on for you. But I'm not a big fan of shoulders, because what they do, usually people gouge into those, and it creates a weak point for your axe. Okay, so that there's a lot more likelihood of it splitting down that where you've gouged it out. Okay, so that's why I'm not a big fan of that. Most of our handles are hung nice and smooth along from the eye right down through. It's nice smooth transition. Now this here, there's a couple things in this. Number one, you can see it's got some heartwood. Okay, now there's just a thin strip of it. Usually I'll put that heartwood half and half if I can. I call it a salt and pepper handle, and it's pretty neat. So this here's got a neat look. It's got that little bit of heartwood on the outside of it there. And then of course it comes down into the the palm swell. And look at the palm swell on this. Okay, so this has got a pretty neat palm swell. And that's the way it looked on on the internet. So that's why I make it. Okay, so this is a long one. This one here, because I recall, it's almost 36 inches long. So. Ooh, wow, 37. Again, the other thing I've done, I give them an extra inch up top here. So I've got 5.5 inches up top. Okay. So I've got a little bit extra up at the top. So that's in case he wants a proud hang, or if he wants to set it down. So that it's 37 inches overall, because I got an extra inch or so at the top. Okay, so he wanted a 36-inch handle. So it's nice and smooth. It's ready to roll. Okay, and it's a beauty handle. Now, had a call from my buddy Wayne. Okay, Wayne Lightning Paulson. Big shout out to Wayne out in Edmonton, Alberta. Now, Wayne and I were close to the same age, and we've been competing at timber sports for years. And we've made the finals the last few years, which is actually, and Don Lambert's the other one that's in our league as well. He's a couple years older, and man, I call him the Energizer Bunny, because there's no end in that guy. But anyways, we're getting towards the end of it. Okay, there's young guys coming up, and of course our strength is starting to wane, our speed starting to wane. So it's a real battle between the old farts and the young guys trying to get those last 4 or 5 spots on the Eastern qualifier and the Western qualifier. But this year Wayne and I are going to bow out, and Wayne's got a bad shoulder. He's going to help out with the wood crew, and of course I'm going to go on the microphone, which I like to do. Now, because we're not as competitive in the chops, we're spending a little bit more time on things we are competitive at, which is axe throwing. So now Wayne says, now I just happen to have an axe here, come in from Tuatai. So this is a brand new throwing axe, okay, from Tuatai. It's a beauty. Okay, and they're well weighted, they're well balanced. They got a relatively small eye for the size of it. But what Wayne likes to do, he likes his head tipped a little bit, okay? And I think he tips it back. So he said, can you make me an eye tipped back 5 degrees? Well, there it is. Yes, I can. So I make my handle straight. I tip the eye a little bit this way. And of course now I've got a 5-degree swing in the top of these eyes. Okay? So I did both of these for him. He wanted hickory handles, so you can take a look down it. Okay, nice and straight, just as straight as a die. and it's a fairly heavy handle because Wayne's a rugged guy, and he can throw a good axe. So all he's got to do is just sand that to finish it off at the end. So that's a heartwood, hickory heartwood. See the nice dark brown in that? Okay. And this one here is a sapwood. So actually, if I put them side by side, you might be able to see that. Yeah. So there you can see the dark and the light. Okay. So one's dark, one's light. And I'm gonna do another video in a few weeks on heartwood versus sapwood, because there's lots of debate right now online. Now, the other order I have, this is for Jeff Schwartz. He's in Arizona. He wanted a 28-inch New Zealand handle made out of ash. So there's my grain. That's a typical grain in an East Coast Lumberjack handle. Okay, and you look down it, she's just as straight as a die. This one's all, now, the other thing I want you to look at is I want you to look at the grain in this. Okay, so there's the grain right here. Okay, you can see it running along. Look how straight that is. Okay, the whole way down that handle, just as straight and true as can be. Okay, so if you look at the side, you can see there's no run out. There's one right here. There's a grain there and a grain there, and of course that's just going from, he wanted a 1-inch eye. So of course my handle here is only 3/4 of an inch, so when it goes up to 1 inch, there's a 1/4 of inch it's got to go up over, and of course it's bumping up over those two grains there. But if you look at it right down through here, look at that. There's a long one right here. Okay, and that's it. Okay, so there's absolutely no run out on this handle. It's pretty sweet. This one here, I've got 2 on this side. Okay, there's one right here and one right here. So just ever so gradual. So most of the grains, and there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 20, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's over 30 grains, growth rings, in this axe. Okay, and remember my rule of thumb for run out is no more than 25%. So with over 30 there, of course 30 divided by 4, whatever, 32, so that's that's what, 8 grains. So I've only got 2 along each side. Okay, so there's no run out here at all. Now it's nice, and I sanded it. It's nice and smooth, so it's got a big eye. He wanted a 3-inch, 2 7/8 by 1 inch, so I've got a fairly good size eye, and this is the shape of the eye, so that he can, I just take the corners off to give a little bit less work when he gets to the shop to shape it. But it's a nice smooth handle. Actually, it feels beautiful. And of course, the New Zealand palm swell is quite a gradual palm swell. You see it flares out this way. Quite nice. And it's a little bit long, so when you grab a hold of it, there's what I call a little bit extra out here. Okay, so it fits your hand pretty sweet, but in all honesty, it's probably about 1/2 inch too long. But that's the way they make them down there. So that's a 28-incher, and that one's going to Arizona. Now I've got another. Let me just look and see where these ones are going. So we already talked about Lightning. Lightning's okay. Yeah, Nathan. So Nathan Munn, and he's in Kalispell, Montana, and he wanted 2 vintage Moors. So I just made one. Now let's compare these side to side. So this is the New Zealand. This one here. This is the Moor, and you can see it's a little bit thinner this way. Sorry, it's less wide. And look here. Look at the difference. Okay, so wherever my calipers are, I can't see them right there. They're right here on the bench, I know that. At least I thought they were. I might have both pairs out in the other shop. I was going to measure those and show you the difference between the 2 of them. Okay, we'll do it this way. Do it the old-fashioned way. So this one here is it's actually less than 3/4 of an inch wide. So this one's really small. You see my hand, okay, see how small it is? And the Moore has got beautiful flare down here. See how that flares out? And it fits your hand beautifully. I remember the first time I felt that when I was down at Wayne Moore's place. Man, I thought, what a beautiful palm swell. So it's really thin. Okay, so now the thickest part of this handle is up here by the eye. So it'll actually last a lot longer because you can't you can't break it as easily because most of your meat's up here. A lot of the modern handles are thick down here and then they thin out up here by your eye, so that makes this the weak point. So that's a really thin one there. So 3/4 of an inch. My New Zealand handle is 7/8. Okay, and the New Zealand handle this way is 1 inch. 1 5/8, and this one here, the Moore, is less than 1.5 inches, so it's 1 7/16. So it's substantially smaller. Now, when you talk about the size of the axe handle, okay, 1/4 inch makes a big difference. Okay, so this handle feels pretty hefty, it's nice and rugged, and with just that much difference, this one here feels really thin. So I'm making another one here. I want to show you how I finish it off. So here's my Moore handle in the vise. So Lee Valley spoke shave. That's what we're using here. And I can see that there's a little bit more grain in this one, but when you pull your first stroke, you can see which way your grain is running. Okay, so I'm nice and smooth up top here. But I'm chattering into it here, so my grain's running opposite at the bottom. So I'm just going to scrape it off. See if I can get you up here. Maybe you can see it better. What I'm doing here. There we go. Okay, so up here, the grain's running properly here. Look at it. There you go. Okay, so there's 3 grains right there. When we come off the eye and down the handle, so all I do with this spoke shave is I take off the rough spots where in the bandsaw there was a little bit of roughness, and then I round out the square corners. Okay. So the hand loaders are piling up. I've got about 20 now to wade through, and thankfully most of them are just 1 or 2 axe handles each. I do have a big order of. It's going to go down to Australia for racing axes, so I'll get on them next week. So once I do that, smooth most of that out, then I take my Sureform, and this I want to really give a lot of sweep back here at the palm swell. So I start up high and then I gouge it right down into the handle. It's already got a fair bit of flare on it. It out that way, then I'm going to round the front of it here where it's octagonal. I'm just going to take those corners off. There, and then just going to smooth all these edges right into a nice smooth round curves. I always put a bevel. I'll bevel off this corner here, this edge. looks like. Okay, so there's the bevel. You can see right there. I've put around the edge of it. Okay, right there. And you can see here it's fairly rough. There's the difference now. Okay, so this is the octagonal stuff over here. Now you can see it's rounded out on this side, and it doesn't take very long to do it. Okay, so there it is. Okay, and you can see there's just a little bit of, there's a couple edges here. So what I'll do is I'll put it back in the vise. So most of that is ironed out. Now what I'll do is I'll take my Nicholson rasp, wood rasp, and I'm going to just smooth those out, all those lines out. Make it nice and smooth. Now another thing I want to say, your fingers will tell you more than your eyes, okay? Your fingers can feel a lot finer, like they can tell you where there's problems a lot better than your eyes can. So I'm gonna keep smoothing out these lines, smooth out the corners on the back. Now the old East Coast Lumberjack plays guitar, and I've been debating putting you through the pain of listening to me play guitar. Now, I don't know. I can carry a tune okay. I'm no Merle Haggard, but I love them. Anyways, if I get a few thumbs up that you want to hear it, I'll try playing you some guitar, okay? And I'll start with my Merle. I like Merle. I like Gordy Lightfoot. I got some good Gordy Lightfoot stuff. And just to mix it up a little bit, just to have a little bit of interlude rather than just listening to me flap my gums all the time about handles. So if you're up for it, let me know in the comments. Maybe next week I'll break out the guitar. Oh, actually, I'll break out the guitar, because my guitar is a beauty. Okay, so subscribe here, so next week when it pops up, you'll know when it comes out, because my guitar is, the wood in it, it's a hardwood. Okay, that's all I'm going to tell you. But it's a beauty. So I'll get it out and show you, because you guys will want to see this guitar. It's a beauty. So I bought it years and years ago. Hardwood top, and it's a fancy wood. So that's all I'll tell you. And while we're looking at it, maybe I'll play a tune. So I'm just going to smooth this out up here. Get this half done, and then flop it over. I got to get these in the mail. I got a bunch more orders. I'm behind a little bit here at the shop. There's a lot of things on the go. So I'm working a couple of days a week. I'm scaling wood for Garance that makes shovel handles. I'm scaling for them up in Woodstock 2 days a week. And then I've been helping my buddy build his house, Jeff, down in St. Stephen. And we're putting the hardwood floor in right now. It's all click floor. It's pretty neat to put that stuff in. So we're almost on the home stretch. You just got to put the lights in, all the moldings around, and his appliances, and then he's in. So I think I'm almost done there. So that's been taking up a bit of time. And then I've got a few tree jobs, and actually I'm clearing a lot right now for my buddy Mitch. He's got a lot out in Rishigournish, and we're clearing that out. He's going to build a house for his daughter there. So lots of big hemlock and stuff on that property to knock down. So we've been burning brush and knocking that stuff down. And then, of course, I got about 5 different chainsaw jobs, plus a handle. So my wife keeps saying, Roger, slow her down, buddy. next time I'll also show you this. Okay, this is a package from Florida from my buddy Joe Galili, and he shipped this up, so he wants an edge on it. So I'll show you how we process this baby. Okay, so we'll unpack it, take it to the garage, put a nice edge on it for him, and then pop a nice handle in it for him. So that's coming up. But I'll have 4 handle orders done right here, and then we've got a few broad axe handles, and the big order for New Zealand. I got to get those things done. Hickories, 10 hickories. But then we get into a lot of single handles. So another broad axe handle. Oh, Emmanuel Belanger, yeah, he's going to reorder that, so don't worry about that right yet. There's a single cruiser going to Montana. Bronco Ernest, he's back on for a couple more French curves. He loves my French curves, so he's got a couple more there, 30-inch ash French curves. Boy in the UNB Woodsman's team, a young man in there, he wants a couple of Aussies and a PV handle. So I got the PVs already turned out right here. So I just got to finish those up. Thankfully, I turned them out here a while ago. There's 2 more Moors for John Blair. Paul Schmidt wants a 29-inch Aussie. He decided bandsaw finish, so that'll be quick. And then my buddy Joel Carroll down in Nova Scotia's got 6 handles here, cruisers, American filling axes. Here's a little hatchet. Oh yeah, Mark, I'm going to try to pop your handle up through, Mark. I'll maybe put that up because just one hatchet handle, 20-incher. It shouldn't take long to do that one. Another cruiser for California, 36-inch. Oh joy, octagonal. So they're tough. And there's another hickory Adirondack going to California. So there's a bunch here. Okay, there's a bunch of handles here, and I got 3 more that I got to process. But they're mostly singles and doubles and stuff, so it shouldn't take too long to finish those up. So this is feeling nice. This side here is pretty much done. So let's pop this over here, finish it up, and we'll... Yeah, so it's nice and thin. So that's the biggest thing is we want it. This is a vintage, so vintage handles need to be thin. So I don't want to leave too much weight on here because I'm assuming if you order the vintage, that's what you want. Okay, that's what the vintage more is a thin handle. So that's exactly what we're doing here is taking some meat off so it's nice and thin. So I curve it out around the neck. Feather the handle up into the neck. Okay, this grain's going the opposite way here. So, something neat here to show you, okay? Now this makes it a little bit tricky to finish it. But what I'm going to show you here, so there's a little bit of, so again, we've got how many growth rings here? We've got over 20 growth rings. And right here in the middle of the handle, if I can get the light on it right for us, there it is, okay? Now, this makes it a little tricky, okay? This is a little bit tricky. You can see there's a growth ring here, just about gone, and it will be gone by the time I'm done with it. But you see as it goes up, there's a ring here, and then another one here. Okay, so there's a little bit of a wow in the wood. And when I cut the handle straight, it goes across a few grains at the top, a few grains at the bottom. Now if you get that, and again, it's no big deal, there's only, what is there here for growth rings? 1, 2, 3, and then this one here, 4. So 4 out of 20, that's still very little run out. Okay, but when you're finishing it, your grain goes, remember the little circle is right here. I got to push this way with my spoke shave to go with the grain. Halfway down the handle, I need to flip it around and go the opposite way, and you saw me doing that. Okay, because what happens if you don't, your spoke shave will gouge out. It'll gouge into the wood. And of course, it makes a mess. So you want it fairly smooth. So there's there. Now right here, see, I got to flip it again. You see me flip it? And then I got to flip it again right here. Okay, so you got to go with the grain. Let the grain tell you what's going on there. Now that middle grain is almost gone here now. And we've got it just about gouged it there. So when you gouge it, and again, you'll do that. You got to be careful. You take too big of a gouge, in order to get that out, you've got a little bit of a warble in your handle. Okay, so that's why you got to be careful with the spoke shave that you don't gouge it out too much. Okay, if you're going against the grain and it goes into the wood and bites too far, you've got to smooth that out, right? So you got to take a lot of wood off to make that smooth again. So you don't want to do that. Okay, that's a huge no-no. So just if you know you're going against the grain, take your time. Flip the tool around and try to go with the grain. So we're just going to finish rounding out the handle down here. And again, we want that big flare on the mower, right? That's what we're after. So you want to leave it around the top, like around the largest part here, and then gouge it down in, okay? Gouge it down in to get that big flare. That's the secret. So there, we've done it there. And we do it on the front of the palm swell. Same thing. There, it's feeling good. On the back side here, same thing back here. You want to take that corner off. Like that. And then we're going to put that bevel on it. Okay. There, man, that feels so nice. Okay, so there it is. Nice big flare here. It stops your hand up really nice, and you can see it's still rough right there. I'm going to smooth that out. So I'm going to smooth it the whole way around. So that's what it looks like now. Okay, it's nice and uniform the whole way around this way and around this way. I'm a little bit. Now see, now here's there's a really good example of a bad example. Okay, now you can see it's kind of flattened out here and it's nice and round here. So what I want to do is on this side here that I'm still working on, I'm going to bring it down to match this side. Okay, it's uneven right now, right? It's not symmetrical. So I need to gouge this down a little bit more, take a little bit more wood off so that it's uniform at the base. So I know I got to take more off here. So we'll do that, round it out in there. A little bit better. Take a little bit more. Going against the grain there. You can really tell with the sure form when you go against the grain. Okay, there. Now let's try to smooth that out. Another big shout out to Al, my buddy Al, who coaches the, what they're called now, Phoenix, the Sir Sanford Fleming Phoenix Lumberjack team. He was in Truro on the weekend. We were down and watched the show, helped out a little bit with some teams. And Al did a great job. His men, after 22 years, won the SELA series this year, the Canadian Intercollegiate Lumberjack Association. Now, Al and I competed back in the late 80s on 2 different college teams. He was on Sir Sanford then, I was on UNB. And big shout out to him. He's still hung with it. He's still coaching out there at Sir Sanford. Good on him. He took over from my buddy Bill Diva. And he's been doing a great job with those young kids there, teaching them the sport. So I wanted to shout out to Al. Al, I'm really impressed, buddy, with your with your team and your coaching. Good job, man. So he took them to they won 3 of the 4 shows this year in Sealift. So good on them. And shout out to the students too, the students that won that. Good job, guys. I know it's not just the coaching. You got to have some good students that can do it as well. So good on you. Okay, so now let me show you how this looks now. Okay, see that? So I flattened that out a little bit in there, so it's a lot more uniform across here. Now the other thing I need to do, this bump is out here farther, so I'm going to actually take a little bit off of that side, just so it's really uniform. Okay, so when he looks at this, he's going to... So right on the point there where it was highest, I'm going to take it down a little bit more right here. Now, put my bevel back on. Okay, so see that? Much more uniform now. Beauty. Okay, so I'm just going to finish that up. So the other thing, next week, okay, not sure if you've seen one of those hung before. That's a fencing maul. We got that on the bench. Also, there's all kinds of stuff here. I keep wondering, what am I going to do next week? But man, there's no end to the stuff. It just keeps rolling in, which is good. I'm having a lot of fun. So, anyways, lots of stuff for next week. Tune in then. East Coast Lumberjack saying, see you around till next week.